Well, let's welcome you back, and we're still with the big story for today. And we're talking about Nigeria inflationary rate at 31.7%, the highest in 28 years. And well, that's for February, and many will say, are we going to have a further increase as we look towards that for March of 2024? Or are we really going to see a reduction in the inflationary rate? But I still have my guest here who doesn't even believe in the inflationary rate being released by the National Bureau of Statistics, and it feels it's a bit higher than that. And I'm talking of no other person but covering the Becca Wokocha. But what we'll do now is we'll go on and get that message from our sponsors, and when we come back, more discussion as it concerns the inflationary rate of put at 31.7%. And what that seems to mean for a country that's already going through a whole lot as dealing with the economy. Let's go on a break.
Oh, yeah, follow the road, auto better quality. If you talk gas matter, oh, yeah, follow Benetta. Gas with the better quality, Benetta. Gas with the full rich man to Benetta. Come delivery, brother, na Shapali. Benetta. For Benetta gas, no mago, Benetta. Get different type of gas cylinder. Benetta. I feel like that gas will go last you well. Benetta. For gas matter, Benetta now do. Benetta. Gas service in a them they run. Benetta. Benetta make you carry go.
For gas matter and home delivery, make you wire Benetta gas plant for 080-6745-7890 and 080-5904-7722. Benetta gas plant, the tequile of gas matters.
It's colorful, so colorful, wow! It's Uzo Furniture and Interior Merchant, a leading name for luxurious furniture at ultra-modern super showroom. Well-stocked is now located near you for the sales and installation of long-lasting exotic and quality interior and exterior furniture for your living space, such as foreign Turkey royal chairs and sofas, glass, wooden and marble royal dining tables and chairs, conference tables and chairs, executive office tables, reception tables, orthopedic office chairs, etc. Uzo Furniture and Interior Merchant has in stock royal king-size and queen-size beds, wardrobes, mirror consoles, wall frames and artworks for decoration, wine bars, big TV shelves and TV stands, gym equipment like motorized gym bicycles, gaming chairs, treadmills, outdoor swing chairs, etc. All at affordable prices. We deliver with our vehicles. To make your home that cozy paradise, locate our super showroom along DSC Expressway opposite Platinum Banquet Place, beside Ugboloposo Junction, Efru, Delta State. Or call 0806-394-3198 or 0703-368-7179. Uzo Furniture and Interior Merchant for comfortable home interior furniture experience.
Well, anyway, those are proud sponsors, and we're talking about Uzo Furniture and also Benetta Gas, located right here in Delta State, Ughelli, and Warrior and Environs, and indeed you can get what you need there. And well, anyway, you might just really be smiling about the services they both of them render. But anyway, we'll say what the big story for today. We're talking about the Nigeria inflationary rate at 31.7%, the highest in the last 28 years. Well, the last time we had it this high was in 1996 during the junta era. We're talking of no other but the late Sani Abacha. But anyway, we'll still just be with it. And well, in case you're joining us, you've missed a great deal. First half, we talked about whether our guest really believed or his reactions to that release CPI from the National Bureau of Statistics, and he feels it's a bit higher, and the NBS seems to be economical with the truth. But anyway, the truth still remains that food inflation seems to be the driver of the inflationary rate. And funny enough, in the last 10 years, a decade now, food inflation has been the major driver. Now, if you look at it, it increased from 35.24% in January up to 37.92% in February. And I'm now being forced to ask, why is it food inflation seems to be the driver of the inflationary rate in the country? Unlike every other country where we had either energy as the main driver or even climate change as the main driver. But for here, we're having food as a constant driver of the inflationary rate. Month on month, year on year.
Yes. Food inflation is obviously the driver. By default, it should be the driver. Though there are other factors, that spiked that drive as well.
Okay.
But the attention is that there is a particular, sector that was anything touches that sector, it has a spiritual effect.
Okay.
Food is synonymous with life.
Yes.
In fact, food, water, and the air you breathe, these elements are things you can't do without. The shouting by Nigerians today is because we can no longer eat food. If the average Nigerian man can eat good food, forget about luxuries, forget about cars, forget about furniture, forget about whatever. He won't see that lamentation that much. But because the only lifeline is food. Food is the survivor of man. If you take away food, Mike, I won't be here. Okay, if I've not eaten today, maybe I'll still have some energy, to get me going through the day. Yes. But once it crosses after 24 hours, Mr. Mike, you'll be surprised that this vibrant, comrade you're seeing may not be able to get up from his bed tomorrow morning.
Most certainly. Because
no food is the energy that drives man. And every responsible government, that wants, to catch the mind of the people, would always make food available
for a citizen.
And that's the reason, in the balance of food security, they said, adequate, sufficient food, and how do you call it again? Nutritious food for man. So that the average Nigerian man, that the 30,000 naira minimum wage, cannot even get, you can only get to 66 cups of rice, will tell you there is a problem in all our homes. So anything that touches food will, incur the wrath of the people. And that is why we are seeing a lot of lamentations. Because a man you deprived the opportunity to have in the house may just like say, okay, if it is so, compelling,
yes,
I may withdraw and go back to my village. After all, we still have a home there. There's not food, Mr. Mike. The rich, the poor, the above, the able, whoever, when you deprive them access to food, which the government has succeeded in doing currently, you incur the wrath of the people.
Okay, now, the next question that will naturally come is it that we're not having adequate food? Good. Or is it that we're having enough, but because of the high rate it is, many Nigerians are not being able to afford it, and hence it's still a driver? Because if we look at the inflationary rate, look at how, like you said, a basket of rice as of December, which was, funny enough, the most vibrant time for food increase year on year, or month on month for a full year, was put about almost 3,000, 4,000. But it jumped up to about 5,000 in the month of January, and in February it shoot up to 7,000.
Okay.
So let's look at it. That what seems to be the reason we're not having? Is it the prices are too high, or we're not having enough to go around?
There are a lot of reasons, sir. But the primary,
talking about food.
The primary among them is this, sir. Now let me take this analysis. In 2023, I think that was the first time, we had this comprehensive African Agricultural Development Program, CADIP, in Maputo.
Yeah.
African heads of states came together and said, we want to promote food security. We want to ensure that at least our citizens have enough food to eat, because that is life. They not said, there was an agreement, there was a commitment that 10% of every country's annual budget should be invested in agriculture. At least, they said at least, not a maximum. It's not the ceiling. But do you know that this country, beautiful country of ours, for that, it was a 10-year development plan.
Yes.
This country was not able, to be sincere with you, to budget 2% of the annual budget to agriculture. And that period vacated. They came up with another version of it from 2014, which is the Malabo Declaration, and they re-emphasized the commitment that every nation should budget 10% of its fiscal budget to agriculture to grow enough food for the people at least. And this country has been adamant, and as it is 2024, the budget allocation to agriculture stands at 1.3% in this country. Then, if this same country leaders will come out in the open, having turned their tongue and twisted their tongue to cajole the public and cajole the and say, we are investing in agriculture. Mr. Mike, you that is privy to this information, what will he say? He will say, go, tell it to the gods, because you know you are not prioritizing the agri sector.
Yes.
So every responsible government must prioritize the agri sector, Mr. Mike. And when you are doing that, you must ensure everything that will make that sector stand firm is put in place, like energy. You see, that the food now is the driver. The energy must be there because you must go into mechanized farming. What is the mechanized farming? Within the cluster of farms there, you still have cottage industries that will process this agricultural produce.
To finish product.
I shouldn't be teaching them, Mr. Mike. Some of them have professors in agri. So Nigeria has not been prioritizing the food sector. We have not been producing enough food for 220 million Nigerians. And again, even when you produce, assuming we still have food, the food we still need to get to the consumers. Having produced, you take to the consumers. And again, you still have to ensure there are storage facilities to address post-harvest waste.
Yeah.
There are lots that the farmer, even within this range of food production, they still lost about 40% of their produce because they cannot store them. They are perishable. The government is adamant. The government is not concerned about food production. That's supposed to be the driver, key, the sustainer of the economy. Then, what about the distribution chain? Do you have roads? Most of these commodities today come from northern part of this country.
Of course.
But I want to tell you, Mr. Mike, not minding the cost of diesel, that's set aside. If you had good roads, even, not minding the cost of diesel, I think the man that has the articulated vehicles will be able to drive from the farm to the south here without any wahala. Mr. Mike, within the space of 8 hours, you should be able to make it from Kano to Benin on a very clean and perfect laid road.
So which will save those from getting there.
The problems are convoluted. They are too numerous. The country, due to total neglect, due to ineptitude, due to inability to man to know what to do at the right time, you know, leadership has failed over the years. So the problems keep mounting. They keep mounting. They keep mounting to a point it has become overwhelming. In every sector now, you don't have light, you don't have road, you don't have food. Everything is no. There is no sector you could say that the government has asserted itself to saying, yes, we want to prove our mettle.
Now, you talked about the value chain, and there seemed to be disruption. On
a lot of disruption.
Right from production,
distribution, and the consumer.
Distribution and consumption.
Yeah, consumption.
But what of security? Because many will also attribute the reason we're neck deep into the present food crisis due to the inability of farmers accessing their farmland. And if you cannot access your farmland, those networks you talked about is just been useless because you've not even started in the initial stage. Now, have we been able to secure our farmers over the years? And do you feel our inability, if your answer is yes, has not been, our inability to protect them has been the bane of us neck deep into this present food crisis?
You're correct. I will answer it from this angle. The country, the government over the years have succeeded in creating, you know, how do I call it, the monster that is roaring now to devour us. Security is paramount.
Yeah.
Your constitution made this clear. The primary responsibility, purpose of governance shall be the security and the welfare of the citizens. So in other words, assuming you cannot do anything should be able to be secured in this country. And that is the social contract that brought about the government.
In the first place.
In the first place. Now, and to have made it more simpler and better for governors to run seamlessly. If we had vacated the subsistence farming, Mr. Mike, if we had embraced mechanized farming, we would be having cluster of farm lands, you know, that it is incorporated with security and everything. So this problem of headers, farmers clashes wouldn't arise, because in the mechanized farming, you know, mechanism and system, you know, such distortions don't arise. You would have taken care of it, because we are still at the mundane stage of administering, managing agriculture. That is why we are having all these problems. Then would the government agree, assert and say, let us vacate this Europe? Where do you have farmers' headers clashes in Europe? Where do you have it in Asia?
No.
Because they have passed that stage, that stone age stage. But we have refused, because the only thing our leaders that is paramount in their mind is how, you know, how to convert public resources to their own personal aggrandizement. It might sound a little bit harsh, but the facts are there. If they say it is not so, let them come and prove it before Nigerians. That we handed you a buoyant economy over the years since we had independence, since we had democracy again in 1999. So if we should not say, let's take a stock, what will you be telling Nigerians now? Is it this economy? Was this what we handed to you, Mr. Mike? So, in other words, if this is what I'm bringing, what it then means is that we have had people who don't have the wherewithal to run an economy. We have had people who are not sincere at heart to run an economy. We have had people who do not have the patriotic bent to run the country. So, it is obvious the results, your report cards, stares you in the face. I shouldn't be the one telling you. At least you be able to. And let me still tell you, they have even, you know, by default agreed at every forum that the problem of this country is leadership. They even say it to themselves. And corruption, they even say it. Whether they know or not, I don't know. Because out of maybe, you know, spontaneously, you know, when issues, you know, keep arising, you see them saying it, that the problem of this country is bad leadership and corruption. And who are the leadership? They are the one. So, the problem is we have not been investing in agriculture. We have not been maximizing the valuation of agriculture. We have not applied technology into agriculture. We are still relying on subsistence farming. 80% of food production today is through subsistence farming. We must vacate it. It won't take us anywhere.
But anyway, why I know we need to go now
is
go on a break. And I'll plead with you to hold on. And we'll definitely come back as we try to wrap this up, looking at that very recent release of the National Bureau of Statistics indicating that the inflationary rate for February is 31.7%, up from 29.9% that it was in January. Well, 0.48% increase. And many are saying, are we going to have further increase as we look at the inflationary rate for March? Well, a question I'll be asking later. But for now, let's go on a break.